Sharp made its triumphant return in 2023 with the XLED Mini LED and the star of today's video, the Sharp FS1 OLED. Up next.
I've seen things people wouldn't believe.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm Brian. This is Tech Therapy. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we look at the Sharp FS1 OLED. Now, why cover a 2023 OLED? Well, last year was Sharp's return to the high-end TV market with the XLED, and the Sharp FS1 followed a few months later. We did that video and the looks at the XLED at our good friends at Value Electronics. The FS1 followed a few months later. I didn't have the opportunity to cover that display. I'm covering it today. However, I also covered Sharp's 2024 models at CES, and I wanted to follow up and show you what Sharp had to offer in regards to OLEDs even before the 2024 lineup comes out. Also, special shout out to Ratings.com, who did a wonderful in-depth review of the FS1. Ratings.com, they are friends, love their content, love their work. They do amazing deep dive videos. Consider becoming an insider to their website, support them. I love them. Had the opportunity to meet some of the crew pretty recently at some events. So check them out and check out my thoughts on the Sharp FS1 OLED. Thank you so much for watching. All right, guys, let's do it. Sharp AQUOS FS1 65 inches. We're at Value Electronics showroom in Scarsdale, New York. Special thanks to Robert, Wendy, and Leanne. They were kind enough to unbox it for me before I arrived, as it is last year's model. It is now outfitted with Roku. The XLED had Google. Many of you are happy about this. You like Sharp's interface. This is what comes in the box. It does have a detachable power cable, 3-prong. There is the Sharp XLED from last year. Now, the FS1 is placed in their theater in the back. It is very dark back there for obvious reasons. So I placed a little light. There are detachable feet, pretty wide. There is one stance, very thin, nice design. Put a little light back there so you could see. Move around to the other side. Now a little thicker at the bottom, like many OLEDs. As we look at the inputs, you have two full bandwidth HDMI 2.1, Ethernet, and all the other connections, USB. But the difference is with that large back, again, like many other OLEDs, you do have a good amount of speakers, a little bit of cable management you saw there. This is the best sounding OLED you will find. We will do a sound demo around the 17-minute mark with our good friend Jennifer Gala. Check out Jennifer Gala and the HDR SUPER Channel. Almost all the demo material is from her and her amazing work. Now there's much talk about mini LEDs as I show you again the design a little bit closer. Mini LEDs, the rise of them, large mini LEDs, small mini LEDs. And many of you are thinking that OLEDs are dead, as we've had some of that conversation that mini LEDs are on the rise. One look at the Sharp AQUOS and you understand why OLEDs are the most beautiful picture quality in the world. That is not banding that you see on this panel. That's actually the rain from the image. Very clean, very vibrant image. Now keep in mind, I am in a dark room. I encourage you to go in and check out Ratings' full review. Again, they do amazing work. The one thing they weren't a fan of was it wasn't overly bright, especially in a bright room. Unfortunately, I had it in a dark room the entire time. So think of this as a companion piece to their amazing article. Now we're going to go through the settings. Again, I am not a massive fan of Roku for many reasons. You're going to see me flipping through these settings. They're not easy to find. And trying to separate what is the Roku settings from what Sharp settings can be difficult. I've always found that with Roku. But many of you like it because of the ease of use if you're not really looking for the settings. In order to enable the settings on the Roku remote, you have to hit the star button. Once you get around all of this, it's pretty easy. What I do like is that whatever you hook up to the display shows up right there in the input immediately. So once you know your way around it, it's pretty simple to find it. But when I have you see me go through the settings the same way I did the first time, just to show you it's a little bit hard to jump around. Now, quickly touching on Roku, again, have not been a massive fan of the remote or any of that. You have the same typical remote you have on Roku. Again, ease of use when you learn how to finally use it. But I'll say that in order to actually access this display and even do an update, you needed to put in a credit card. So not a big fan of that. So even though I had my Fire Stick connected to it so I could just go around the Roku, I actually could not do that. I had to go through downloading all of the apps and put in a credit card to access that. But unfortunately, I think that is the future with these kinds of operating systems. What's funny is you can actually see me going through picture settings. It took me a while to actually find them labeled. There is a shortcut that you'll see later. Once you get to the settings, it's actually quite easy, or not say quite easy. There is quite a few settings to really change the image. And you hear me say this term a lot if you are part of my community and channel, is flexibility of image. And there's quite a bit you can change here with the AQUOS FS1. Now, I didn't find it to be dull or not very bright at all myself, but then again, I am in a completely dark room back here, and it wouldn't have helped if I was out in the showroom anyway. It's actually pouring when I shot this. But I can tell you right off the bat, if you were in a dark room, I can highly recommend the Sharp AQUOS. Right now, the price of it's about $1,500, which puts it in line with the C3 OLED. And why I'm covering Sharp really quickly is I've always loved the brand. Sharp AQUOS Quatron. Those are TVs that we always fantasized about back in the day, the TVs we wish we could have. Being a home theater fanatic for many years, you always think about the TVs you've always coveted when you clearly couldn't afford them back in the day. So I will always support them. I will always film them. And I think the more options we have, the better we are as a consumer. Plus, I know many of you feel the same way about Sharp and AQUOS. Again, it's a brand and a display, especially the large 70 inches we really, really wanted. As you're watching me go through the settings, again, special shout out to ratings.com. I will link their full article below. Think of this again as a companion piece. I'm very fond of ratings.com. Think about becoming an insider as you get access to early reviews. You can actually vote on which TVs you want to see reviewed next. They review everything electronic, by the way. And also, very special shout out to Cedric, who is the owner of Ratings, and connected with them through Facebook Messenger in early 2016 when I had a string of defective TVs. My interaction with them at the time, going through a crisis of very expensive TVs, really helped me through, and they're actually responsible for the birth of my channel in that regard, as I thought I could help people in the same way. And also, very special shout out to Adam from ratings.com, who I met just a few weeks ago at an event, who I also talked to a lot through Messenger. And didn't have a chance to talk to him as much as I'd like to, but special thanks to that entire team. And again, please consider supporting them. They are amazing, and their review is beyond thorough. Not something I could possibly do. Now, flexibility of image, as we talked about going through these settings, some of them are very impactful. You can see a big difference. Others are not. A lot of sub-sections, sub-menus. Once you get around them, it's rather easy. But I do find them to be overly complicated. Now, HDR is definitely labeled, but the image looks fantastic. Very clear, crisp image, very colorful. I will say this about the FS1, it is very colorful. Now I'm absolutely going to steal this line from Sharp's review. Sharp's Medalist S4 AI image processor that can automatically adjust brightness, details, and color based on what it detects. It's only available on the 55 and 65-inch sizes. Love the names of these processors. Going through the content, again, beautiful. This demo in particular, in mini LEDs, you will see a lot of blooming if it's not up to snuff with the backlight. On OLEDs, however, you'll lose a lot of detail behind these flame dancers or fire dancers. Earlier in it, you can see it in the back there, it is clear, the windows are clear. Now, the reason you also see me going through a lot of these settings is I don't like to adhere or stay by just one standard. Accuracy is always important. I'd like to show you how each preset looks in different kinds of content. There is no right. Once you buy this display or buy any TV, you do what you think looks the best. There can be a large gap between accuracy and what you find to be pleasing when you're watching your own TV. If a TV such as the FS1 is not the brightest, it doesn't have the brightest HDR or SDR, by putting it in a different preset, that might make the difference for you. So staying in one preset is not something I ever fully agree with. But overall, for me, I'm very happy with the image. If you like Sharp, you like the AQUOS brand, you like the operating system, and if you're a fan of Roku, it's the only one to get. However, it goes against a very stiff competition in the OLED market, again with LG and QD-OLEDs at 55 and 65. But I do think it looks amazing. And again, a lot of ability to change the different modes, dark, bright. A little difficult to find them for someone who is probably new to this. It may be difficult. There are some prompts on how to find the picture settings. You may have to go one page deeper, probably simplifying that a bit. But again, that's how the Roku interface is. Hard to know where Roku starts and the TV begins. But again, most people are big fans of it. That sticker you see in the corner is just the energy saver. There is not a film on the screen. I wasn't able to see it unpacked. Moving into one of our favorite LG demos. Starfield is sparkling and there's nothing crushed. I couldn't capture all of it. Very clean, very detailed, very sharp. All the pun in the world intended. Now at the 17-minute mark, I will shut up and turn off the music so you can hear Jennifer Gala's incredible music. The sound of both the XLED from earlier in the lineup, the mini LED had a ton of upfiring speakers. You also have upfiring speakers here on the FS1. A lot of complaints from OLEDs is the sound. You do sacrifice quite a bit with that thin bezel. Sharp makes no such compromises. It was bassy and clean, and you can get it very, very loud without any distortion. So look for that around the 17-minute mark. I'll tell you when, and you can either increase or decrease the volume. And then we're going to cover some gaming. But for me, again, Roku, not a huge fan of it. In general, I'll say that over and over. I have no complaints with the AQUOS. Think it is beautiful. It is clean, very colorful. Again, a lot of options to tweak. It would be much more competitive at a lower price. We'll get into gaming again after the audio demo. A lot of competition from them. I would love to have seen a QD-OLED like the one you have in Europe. Motion seemed good. Screen uniformity was perfect, no issues at all. And all content, especially movies, looked fantastic. And upscaling seemed to be very good. But as I mentioned, OLEDs are OLEDs. What's great about OLEDs is really no matter what you choose, even whatever price point, you know you're getting something next level. That's where OLEDs are unbeatable. You're not worried about any kind of blooming, anything like that with an OLED. Colors pop, especially in a dark room. Now you can turn up your volume or turn it down. And here's our good friend, Jennifer Gala, with the audio. Thank you, Jennifer. Again, check her out in the description. As you can see, the PS5 is hooked up. It recognized it immediately and made all the changes you can see right there. VRR was enabled automatically. I did notice a game bar, but again, you can flexibility of image. You can change the TV brightness, and some OLEDs you kind of are stuck, or what it is what it is in terms of picture quality and game mode. Not so here. You can change the picture mode quite a bit, as you can see. Now there may be a game bar, was not able to locate it, but I found the gaming image and obviously the response time, it is an OLED, to be fantastic. But again, just going through the settings for you. I would say not having dynamic contrast available on an OLED, you're seeing that more and more with game modes from mini LEDs and OLEDs. I wish they bring that back. It does add lag. It is a processing component, but some of you love it in gaming. Good thing with OLEDs is they do look vibrant and gorgeous. We'll run through a couple games here with Street Fighter and the new Tekken. No issues at all. And again, if there was a game bar, I was not able to find it, I will do a more thorough job when the new ones release in 2024. Now with mini LEDs versus OLEDs, mini LEDs can fall apart in gaming as most processing is disabled. It can change the image quality quite a bit. Not so with OLEDs on the market, and the Sharp is no different. You can see I'm in a very bright, or I should say dark room, bright room, I'm in the opposite of a bright room. And while I'm getting beat up here, I'll go through again the picture settings. You can see how you can change the image. You can make it look very, very saturated. You have all the color presets. You can change to your heart's content. With game mode, I'll tell you this, I in many ways make the image darker. If we have lifted blacks with HDR, which is very common in games these days, unfortunately. One of my go-to games is Horizon Forbidden West. Go through the settings here and check flexibility of image. Now I would say it's not the poppiest preset as far as gaming, though you can alter it quite a bit. It's not the brightest OLED on the market, and they are very bright these days, especially the G series and the QD-OLEDs from both Sony and Samsung. You will pay quite a bit more for MLA and QD-OLEDs, at least the top shelf in regards to Samsung. And again, if you're a fan of the brand, its operating system, its processor, and its signature. So important to look at these manufacturers' signature, and if you're a fan of that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you happy that Sharp is back? We do look for big things from them in 2024, and again, I hope the successor to the FS1 is a QD-OLED or an MLA WRGB OLED. The reason why I like using dirt as a demo is it can look very washed out. Does not look like that here, though this is where the brightness limitations do show up a bit. On mini LEDs, this might clip or wash out. It looks great here. Doesn't look overly poppy, but it does look good. So I'd say in closing, for a dark room, it is an excellent choice. Probably a little expensive considering the competition and its price point. There's a 55 and a 65. Gaming is very good, though I couldn't locate a game bar. There may be one. And if that's important to you, I'm sure it's done better with Samsung and LG. But I love the image, and it's one of the TVs that I spent the more time with. I liked it the more I spent time with it, is what I should say. In a dark room, absolutely gorgeous. I like their signature. Accuracy, definitely there. And also vibrant, beautiful, and clean. All right, guys, I'm Brian. This is Tech Therapy. Thank you so much for watching. Love you guys. Have a great day. Take care.
It's better